Gone are the days when good cameras were associated exclusively with premium flagship smartphones. It's 2018 and we have more than a handful of smartphones all around the rupees 15,000 mark which can vie for being the best camera mid-ranger. With Xiaomi launching the Redmi Note 6 Pro, we thought we should pitch it against other worthies like the Mi A2, the Honor 8X, the Realme 2 Pro and the Redmi Note 5 Pro. It was our job to put the cameras to the test in various scenarios, and now it's your job to pick the winner. The reason I say that is generally the camera performance is subjective. I mean, some of you may like colors that pop out, some of you may prefer a more natural look. So, since I know what exactly the real scene looked like while shooting, I'm going to give you my opinion based on that. But the final pick is going to be yours. So grab some popcorn, be ready to pixel peep, watch out for polls that keep popping up right here for you to cast your vote, and before we begin the blind test, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you wish to see more such videos. Before we begin, it's important to note that we always use the auto mode with HDR kept in auto and AI whenever available turned on by default. Let's start with the daylight scenarios, specifically the landscapes. This was around 5 p.m. at Lal Bagh in Bangalore with sun playing hide and seek with the trees, a perfect scenario to test the HDR capability of the phones. As we cycle through the images, you can notice the difference in color of the tree leaves and exposures. Let's put them all next to one another. You can pause the video here, go back and check individual pictures and make a note of what you like. The first poll will come up a little bit later. Here is the next one with a rusted enclosure, good enough for us to test the dynamic range. It's important for us to notice the difference in white balance and more importantly, how the backgrounds is exposed in each of them. Here they are next to one another. Let's move on to the macro. And we find all the cameras performing well with little difference in white balance and color reproduction. While some have cooler temperature, others are on the warmer side. Move on to the last low light pick. We have found some phone cameras struggling to capture neon lights accurately in the past, so this was a nice opportunity to test them all. Although some of them have a dedicated night mode, we have stuck to auto mode here. This one is an extreme low light scene which really brings out the difference in camera prowess of all the smartphone. Must say the phone E struggles the most with a lot of grain, especially in the sky. Take a couple of more seconds to observe and answer the second poll on the card above. I hope you have carefully chosen the winner for this low light round. So let's proceed to portrait shots. Starting with daylight portrait of objects, most of them get the edge detection right, but there is a difference in color reproduction. If I have to comment on my personal opinion, phone B must be the least accurate of all. Next up, we have the face portrait, so let's put them all side by side. All of them have got the edge detection bang on, so it's just matter of details and exposure. You can take a minute to carefully analyze and choose which ones looks the best. If you are done, let's move on to portraits in low light. This is quite straightforward scenario with no direct source of light anywhere, and you can see how most of them struggle to keep away the noise and get enough details. This photo probably gives away the phone with widest aperture, managing to capture enough light and details. Moving on to the selfies, we have stitched the normal and portrait mode shots for better judgment. This one is under daylight, all of them have got the edge detection right except for phone C which has messed it up near the shoulders. The blurring is so aggressive that the wires in the background completely go missing. And then we have selfies in low light. And again, phone C is the one to mess up the edges while screwing up the white balance as well.
and the audio as well is being captured from the onboard microphone, so you should get a rough idea of how it's gonna sound like. This part of the video is being recorded using the front-facing camera of phone B. You should be able to judge the level of detail, the color reproduction, the dynamic range, and the audio as well is being picked up from the onboard microphone, so you should get an idea of how it's gonna sound like. This part of the video is being recorded using the front-facing cameras on phone C, so you should be able to judge the level of detail, the color reproduction, the dynamic range, and the audio as well is being picked up from the onboard microphone, so you should get a rough idea of how it's gonna sound like. This part of the video is being recorded using the front-facing camera of phone D. You should be able to judge the color reproduction, the details, the dynamic range, and the audio as well is being picked up from the onboard microphone, so you should get a rough idea of how it's gonna sound like. This part of the video is being recorded using the front-facing camera of phone E. You should be able to judge the level of detail, the color reproduction, the dynamic range, and the audio as well is being picked up from the onboard microphone, so you should get a rough idea of how it's gonna sound like.
Right, time for poll number 4 on the card above. Choose the best one you think which handled the videos better. It's time now to take the final poll. If you want, you can pause and go back or check everything once again, including what you have voted in the previous polls, and make your final decision as to which is the best camera smartphone in this price range. It's time for the reveal. Phone A is the Xiaomi Mi A2, the one with the widest aperture. Phone B is the Note 5 Pro. Phone C is the Honor 8X. Phone D is the latest challenger Redmi Note 6 Pro. And finally, the phone E is the Realme 2 Pro. So which one did you vote for as the best amongst these 5? Let us know in the comment section below. I hope this was mighty useful and fun to choose the best mid-range camera smartphone. If so, smash that like button and share it with your friends. Until next time, may the tech be with you.